knew that my life was pretty much over, but I didn't want anyone to know that that had happened or that I did it. So I started taking steps, or what I could do in the aftermath of it, to try to cover up that I was there. So I did a whole bunch of things to try to make it seem like I wasn't ever there.
Is there something about a certain decibel of the voice that creates problems?
Decibel, tone, content, sort of a combination of those factors.
This is just a stunt. Mere approach.
You may.
How about that? Quite a difference in demeanor there. And it was, she's the first soundbite we heard. It's after she's killed Travis Alexander. Her life's over, and she got the Kleenex. She's weepy, and then almost a smile as she's going into combat there with the prosecutor Juan Martinez. Let's go over this. Our body language expert Susan Constantine's with us. Hey, Susan, and
hey,
I want to go back to our experts. Ryan said she's glib. Beth says she's arrogant. Jean says she is secure. You agree with their assessments? First off.
First of all, I agree with every one of them, and each one of them have their own perception, and every single one of them are correct, and I'm going to explain why. Remember, we saw Jodi Arias before. We saw her crying, right? We didn't see any tears, though. But did you notice that her mouth was more horizontal? Her mouth was stretched. Her bottom lip was just kind of slightly open. That was a forced emotion. That wasn't truly felt. Now we're going to go fast forward into this expression that Jean and Ryan and Beth were talking about, and that's called contempt mixed with duping delight. When she feels that she is superior, when she feels that she's extremely confident, when she feels that she's outwitted you, you'll see this little horizontal smirk on one side of the face, always is one side, and it slightly just happens in 1/25th of a second, and then guess what happens? When she thinks that she outwitted you, duping delight happens. So now she feels really confident, and she actually feels enjoyment, enlightenment, and joy that she thinks that she fooled all of us.
As you're talking, we can almost see that there. Let's listen to another piece here, and this is she's talking about the Pop Rocks as she's going to combat with Juan Martinez. Let's listen to that.
You enjoyed the Tootsie Pops and the Pop Rocks, correct?
I enjoyed his attention.
No, I want to know if you enjoyed the Tootsie Pops and the Pop Rocks. In your view, you can go through an act and not enjoy it, but also enjoy it. What are you trying to say?
Am I allowed to tell you what I'm trying to say?
I want to know whether or not you enjoyed it. This encounter that we've been calling Lonnie's baptism, there were some Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops that were involved, right?
No, Lonnie's baptism did not involve Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks.
She even kind of gives the little look to the jury like, this guy's crazy. What's he asking me this for, right?
Exactly. But did you see her where she kind of like shrugged her shoulders just a little bit? And she goes, like, gotcha. Smirk happens, contempt, thinks she duped you, and because she duped you, then she now breaks into a smile because she feels that she outwitted you. It is a process. It's called a cluster gesture. And here's the thing is, because Cross has been so tough, she's now unable to conceal all of her emotions based on the neutral affect that she had before. Now here she has no control. And here's the other thing, too, I want to bring forward. This attorney is using a technique that's called cognitive interviewing. It's this great investigative tactic where he's darting around because what he's trying to do is ask her questions from different angles to trip her up because she's remembered everything from the beginning to the end, but now go from the back end, going forward and hitting at different points, and that's what's scrambling her mind. That's why she got set with her attorney. With the attorney.
And when she's kind of stumped, she'll go into the stall there, it seems, as well. She will really stop the action and really contemplate before she's going to launch back into battle. All right, more with Susan coming up here and we're going to show a little bit more on the friendly fire under direct examination. So more with Susan coming up. Again, this is fascinating stuff.
When I grabbed the gun, I ran out of the closet. He was chasing me. I turned around and we were in the middle of the bathroom, pointed it at him with both of my hands. I thought that would stop him. If someone were pointing a gun at me, I would stop. But he just kept running. He got like a linebacker. He got kind of low and grabbed my waist But before he did that, as he was lunging at me, the gun went off. I didn't mean to shoot him or anything. I didn't even think I was holding the trigger. I just was pointing it at him. And I didn't even know that I shot him.
You said the relationship with Mr. Alexander was very stressful.
Some of the sex wasn't.
Pardon?
Some of the sex wasn't.
So you did enjoy the sex then, is that what you're telling me?
At times I did.
How about that exchange? One of the memorable moments, we'll say, from round one of Jodi Arias versus the prosecutor, Juan Martinez. We're back with our body language expert, Susan Constantine. Susan, some great stuff. Really makes you think, and I think we watch with a different set of lens, especially after hearing it. Let me ask you about that, what we just heard there. She fires the zinger at him about, well, some of the sex wasn't stressful, or it was kind of enjoyable, whatever she said there. Do you think there's any jury members that are going, hey, good for her. Good for her standing up to this guy?
I do, because let's talk about a jury. We've got 16 people on the panel, right? Minus 4, so we got 12. We have 12 different personalities, 12 different attitudes, 12 different past experiences, 12 different biases, all clustered together. We have different learning and communication styles. Now, guess what? We're going to get those really feeling people who are saying, oh, poor Jodi, she must have been abused. And then we have the other ones going, wait a minute. Those little engineers are going, the pieces don't fit. And then you got the evidence. But here's the biggest thing, change in demeanor. I think that people will be able to see this. But the problem is this, though, Mike, is that only 50% at best are people able to read people's body language accurately. So they may see it, but they don't really know what it means, which can cause 1 out of 6 verdicts to come back with a wrong verdict.
Okay.
It's scary.
Right. You mentioned change in demeanor. We just showed her going toe-to-toe with Juan Martinez. Here, we're going back to direct from her own attorney, Kirk Nurmi, and I believe she's looking down here, and she's being asked about being scared of Travis Alexander. Let's watch that. We'll get your take on it.
Yes.
Would you start shaking if he got mad at you?
Yeah, it depended on his fury and his wrath.
When he swore at you?
Yes.
When he called you a whore?
Yes.
A slut?
Yes.
That made you shake? You were scared, right? Were you scared?
Yes.
All right, I'm digging in there, watching, very soft-spoken, looking down the one-word answers. What do you make of that, Susan?
Well, first of all, I think you know the answer to that one, because she's got her head tilted down. But sadness, it's not consistent with sadness. The mouth doesn't look, or the face doesn't look like it's actually melting from her face. And she's talking about being fearful. You're not seeing these glazed eyes, these fixed eyes, these deer in headlights kind of look. So when somebody is truly talking about a past experience, it's going to recall that emotion. And that emotion will leak out through their nonverbal. So even when she was talking about the sexual abuse on the little boy, so to speak, did you see disgust? No. When she's talking about things where she was being abused or fearful of being attacked, did you see fear? No. And then when she was feeling sad and she's and very upsetting, do you see her sadness? No. All you see is her head down, no tears, and a runny nose. Really?
Got it. Hey, 10 seconds or less. Is her demeanor a winning demeanor for this courtroom and this trial or not?
I believe that the first part of it was very convincing. A lot of it was, even though I could read into all the tears. I mean, she could really kind of pull on the heartstrings in certain points. But then the second part of it, I think that she's losing those people that may have voted for her in the beginning.
All right, Susan's coming back and help answer your calls.
That's a picture of you, correct?
Yes.
Right here. And the other one is a picture of your dumb sister, Angela, correct?
That's my sister. She's not dumb.
May 10th, we'll bring it in, of 2008, right?
Yes.
Do you remember that you testified that on January 22nd of 2008, you and Mr. Alexander were involved in some sort of violent encounter? Do you remember telling us about that?
Yes.
And you told us that during that encounter, he threw you down. You remember that?
Yes.
You wrote, I haven't written because there has been nothing noteworthy to report, correct?
Yes.
Didn't you tell us, involving the finger, that this injury to your left finger when Mr. Alexander went to kick you, that happened on January 22nd of 2008?
Yes, it did.
Show us how bent it is again, ma'am. Higher, so we can see it sideways. On January 22nd of 2008, that would have been before this picture that we have here, which is exhibit number 453. It would have been about 5 months before that, right?
It was before that.
5 months, right?
4.
4 months then, right?
Yes.
You don't have a bent finger here.
But that pretty powerful point there. Whenever you get the visuals in there, you're really cementing home your point. Juan Martinez, I think, doing a pretty good job there. But what do you guys think? We're taking your calls right now. We want to know, if you could ask Jodi Arias one question, only one, what would it be? There's the phone number, 1-877-TEL-HLN. We have our experts standing by to help answer your questions. With us in sessions, Gene Casares, Beth Karras. They know this case inside and out. Also back with us, our body language expert, Susan Constantine. Hey, that's not a good sign when we hear the tone right out of the gate. So let's see if we've got Marty with us in Colorado. Marty, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Marty, what would be your one question to Jodi Arias?
I would ask her if this is the first time she's killed or the first time she's been caught.
Wow. Why that one? You're really going to come at her with that, huh? You want to trip her up or what?
I would, because this is a woman that is very obsessed with men, manipulative, believes she has everybody under control and under her thumb. But she does have a tell when she doesn't have an answer or she has to recall her lie. There's a dimple that appears above her left eye.
So Marty...
And I don't believe her finger was broken. She's double jointed. There's a whole lot, but I just want to slap her.
Okay. Man, Marty, full of insightful analysis. Beth, what about that? Is this the way to go at a witness or a defendant like Jodi Arias? Come at her with a question like that? Try and stump her, throw her off?
Well, I think that if Martinez were to ask that question, there'd be an objection and it would be sustained. I mean, she's going to be questioned, I think, ad nauseum about the killing itself that she says she doesn't remember. She'll be confronted with photographs, I would imagine. You don't remember this, you don't remember this one, you don't remember driving the knife there, you don't remember almost cutting his head off, and you don't remember deleting the photos on the camera and putting the camera in the washing machine. I think if he said, is this the first time you killed, that she would even be able to answer that question.
Got it. Okay. Hey, let's get another call in. Linda's with us, New Jersey. Hey, Linda, what would be your one question for Jodi Arias?
Hi.
Hey.
I'd like to ask Jodi if, on the day that she killed Travis, that she tied him up. I'd like to know if she was able to convince him and let her tie him up, and that way she could overpower him. And if I could, I'd just like to tell Beth how much I admire her.
Okay, there you go. Compliment to Beth out there. Hey, Gene, what about that? So getting back to the day that she kills him, whether or not it's self-defense, that's why we're here, but and flipping the page there on her. Did you tie him up? What do you think of that?
Well, I think there'd be an objection, not based on facts and evidence, because she testified that the rope that was there was used to tie her up. So I don't think they'd even get an answer on this. I think the judge would side with the defense that the rope was for her, not for him, whether there was even any rope at all.
Yep. You know, and I think where our viewers are going, they're really trying to knock her off her pedestal. You know, she's very calm, very in control. Gene, you said secure in your one-word answer to her demeanor, so I think that's where our viewers are going. Let's get another viewer in. Brenda's with us, New York. Brenda, what would be your one question for Jodi Arias?
I'd like to ask Susan Constantine, the body expert. Occasionally she'll put her right hand to her right cheek, and I wonder if she has an explanation what that means.
Susan, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, anytime you're ever putting your hand near your face or your neck, these are all kind of vulnerable areas. This is worry, concern, feeling vulnerable, that she's kind of losing, you know, her sense of strength. So she's feeling very insecure at this point.
Got it. And there haven't been a lot of those moments, especially as the day wound down yesterday. She was going toe-to-toe with the prosecutor, Juan Martinez. All right, let's take a quick break.
Do you have a problem with memory?
Occasionally. I don't remember bringing the gun with me, but I remember throwing it. There's a lot of that day that I don't remember. I have no memory of stabbing him.
Do you remember dragging him across the floor?
No.
What factors influence your having a memory problem?
I don't remember.
You don't remember telling him it was the left ring finger?
No.
What was the name of it? How about that?
Oh, I don't know.
Again, do you have a problem with memory?
I don't know that I'd really call it a problem.
What happened on this particular day?
I don't remember.
Remember that?
Not specifically.
Again, do you have a problem with memory?
I don't remember.
Family home evening starts at 7 o'clock in the evening, doesn't it?
I don't remember. I don't remember the times. I don't remember her name. It was 5 years ago almost. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't actually remember it.
The blackout defense, will it work? She can remember the price of gas a few years ago, but again, blacking out when she talks about the time when she killed Travis Alexander. We're taking your calls, 1-877-TEL-HLN, and we're letting you vent here. And what question would you ask the defendant? Jodi Arias, if you had the chance. Go back to the phones. Jay is with us in Virginia. Jay, what's your question?
Hey, Mike,
hey.
And everyone, we appreciate your coverage. You guys do a great job.
Thanks.
Been following you since way back in the day to Casey Anthony. I would ask her, at the point allegedly where Travis slams her into the tile, and after she drops the camera and says, kill you in the B word, does he physically hold her down and keep her from leaving the house, leaving the room, leaving the bathroom, and calling the police? Or does she have enough time to get out? In her story, she goes and grabs a gun and then basically shoots him, and then she can't remember anything else. But does she have enough time to get out of the house and leave the situation? Because if so, then it's not self-defense.
Interesting point. Beth Karras, what about that? Where Jay's taking us back to the, I believe as Jodi Arias says, that the gun goes off. But before that, does she have a chance to flee, Beth?
Well, you know, when she ran down the hallway into the master bedroom, she turned right into the master closet, which leads right back to the bathroom and where the gun was, she says. She could have turned left, and immediate left would have taken her downstairs and out of the house. And what the caller is talking about is what under the law is called a duty to retreat. In some states, there is a duty to retreat to safety when you're asserting self-defense. Before using deadly force, if you can retreat to safety, get away safely, you should not kill someone. And the defense is asking the court not to instruct the jury on that. The judge hasn't decided yet, to my knowledge. It's an open question still. And the defense does not want the jury to consider that she could have just run out of the house. Very good observation on the part of the caller.
Absolutely, and very insightful answer as well. Let's go to the phones again. Gwen's with us, West Virginia. Gwen, your question for Jodi Arias.
I want to know why, you know, she says she gets stressed out when men raise their voice, like Travis and all of them. Anyway, why can she remember shooting him and the big chase and him saying he's going to kill her? That would be very stressful, but she can't remember anything else. The 27, 29 stab wounds or the throat slitting.
There you go. Okay, Gwen, thanks for the question. Gene, there it is again, the blackout defense. I mean, and Gwen is probably asking the same question some jurors are. It's just not adding up.
Right. You know, I think that we're in the defense case. We have not heard from the defense expert witnesses yet, a domestic violence expert and a psychologist. They're going to talk about being the victim, as she says she is, of violence to make someone shake. And also, when something traumatic happens in life, I think the defense will say that you don't remember it. There's a blackout period.
All right. Again, they're going to have a heck of an expert to explain that one. Let's get one more call in. Linda's with us. Michigan. Go ahead, Linda.
Oh, hello, Mike. How are you?
Great.
Listen, if I were Juan Martinez, which, by the way, I think is doing a wonderful job, we're not having a cupcake party here.
No, we're not.
This man was slaughtered, all right? So, you know, he doesn't need to be nice to this woman. I would ask her this. I would say to her, you lived in that house, right? You knew every inch of that house, didn't you? Right? Well, listen, honey, you had your boxes in that garage, and you needed that Social Security number. You had to have it for the next day, didn't you? But you had to walk around the house and peek in the windows because everything was locked. Why didn't you punch the button and punch the code in, honey? Because we all know, you had to know that, didn't you? You knew everything else.
There you go.
Why didn't you just use the code?
Linda. Linda, you're fired up.
Well,
Susan,
let me tell you,
we got. I'm telling you, Linda's like many of our viewers, just so passionate about this case. Susan, real quick about that, Juan Martinez and his style. Do you think he's rubbing some jurors the wrong way and coming at her like that? Real quick.
He can because the voice inflection, when you hear something all the time, the same tone, you just become immune to it. So I think that he actually has to have a little bit more rhythm and pace in his voice in order. Yes, he has to.
Rhythm and pacing. Hit what you have to hit and hit it hard. All right.